welcome to this episode of Ask Aviel. My name is Aviel. You can ask me questions so that we can share, learn, and grow together. There are 7 species that grow naturally in close proximity to one another in the land of Israel, providing essential nutrients to sustain life in the Holy Land. They consist of 2 grains and 5 fruits: wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. Each of them has a vital and sacred meaning. The 7 species have grown abundantly in the land of Israel for thousands of years, and they are mentioned all throughout the scriptures as special produce of the land of Israel. Deuteronomy 8:7-8 says, "For Adonai your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of wadis with water, of springs and fountains, flowing out in the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, vines, figs, and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey." Today, I am going to talk about the last of the 7 species, dates. Wait, wasn't the last species honey? At the time of Deuteronomy, the promised land would not have many flowers or bees to produce honey from nectar. Rashi, or Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki from France, said, "Any sweet juice of a fruit is called honey." Abraham ben Meir ibn Ezra was one of the most distinguished Jewish biblical commentators and philosophers of the Middle Ages. He said that this speaks of date syrup or date honey. Most of the sages and rabbis agree that honey mentioned in Deuteronomy 8 verse 8 speaks of date honey. Dates are oval cylindrical, measuring about 3 to 7 centimeters long, with colors ranging from bright red to bright yellow. Having a high sugar content, dates are very sweet and they are enjoyed all over Israel. Exodus 15:27. Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 date palm trees. So they camped there by the waters. Numbers 33 verse 9. They departed from Marah and came to Elim. There were 12 springs of water and 70 date palms at Elim. So they camped there. The nation of Israel had just come from a place called Marah, where the waters were bitter. They suffered thirst. But now, God led them to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water. Rashi, or Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki from France, said that the 12 springs of water was a number corresponding to the 12 tribes. Imagine that, a spring for each tribe of Israel. Abraham ben Meir ibn Ezra tells us that scripture mentions the date palm trees to let us know that contrary to the waters of Marah, the waters here were sweet, for date palm trees could not flourish in a land of bitter waters. Deuteronomy 34:3 and Judges 1:16 state that the plain of the valley of Jericho was the city of date palm trees. Matthew 3 verse 4. Now John wore clothing from camel's hair and a leather belt around his waist, and his food was locusts and wild honey. It was highly likely that the honey that John the Baptist or Yochanan HaMatvil ate was date honey. His diet was limited, but it was nutritious and gave him energy for the work of the Lord. Dates were readily available in the wilderness, and perhaps he squashed them into a paste to make the locusts more palatable. He was a servant of the Lord who did not let the comfort of food, drink, or garments hinder him in God's work. Psalm 92:13. The righteous will flourish like a date palm tree. Rashi said that the righteous would flourish like the date palm tree that produces lots of fruit in huge clusters, fruit that is sweet and pleasing to others. Chaim ben Moshe ibn Attar, also known as the Or HaChaim after his popular commentary on the Torah, compared the upright posture of the righteous to that of a date palm tree. These trees grow up tall and straight, sometimes reaching a height of 21 to 23 meters. This is the posture of the upright. The word for uprightness is yashar, and when we are upright in God, we are yashar el, Yisrael. Let's be like the date palm, standing straight and tall, producing fruit in season and even out of season. And let the fruit that we produce be sweet like dates. Thank you for joining me. I pray that this message inspires and challenges you. God bless you and your family. Shalom.